Bitcoin just hit 124,000. 1 year ago, we were only half that at 60K. That's a 100% gain in only 12 months. The question everyone's asking, is this only the beginning of October, or are we staring at the biggest bubble pop in history? Rate cuts, inflation cooling, stimulus talk, record highs across markets. Something big is happening. Let's break it all down. What's up, family? It's Coach Masi, and you're locked into the Daily Hodl. If you love Bitcoin and financial news that actually matters, this is the channel for you. Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video at the end with someone you love. Remember, this is not financial advice, only educational purposes. But let's break it down. October has always been a pivotal month for Bitcoin. That's why it's called Uptober. And history is repeating itself in 2025. Traders call it Uptober for a reason. This year, it's living up to the hype in massive weight, and we're just getting started. Bitcoin has exploded to 124,000 today. That's double the price from where we were just a year ago. Grinding at 60K to explosion, 124K. Wow, we're witnessing one of the strongest wealth transfers in financial history. So what's driving the momentum? It's not just retail hype. It's institutional demand surging. It's unprecedented levels of global economic certainty and uncertainty all coming together at once. Spot Bitcoin ETFs are soaking up billions in capital. Corporations are adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, and investors across the globe are rushing toward hard assets they trust instead of fiat currencies that they're continuing to erode by the Fed. Here's the part people underestimate. Unlike stocks, which are chained to market hours and circuit breakers, Bitcoin trades 24/7. It reacts instantly to geopolitical shocks, central bank announcements, and even a wave of retail FOMO from Asia or South America. I mean, this constant global liquidity makes it the purest reflection of supply and demand in real time. October isn't just a meme this year. It's a demonstration of Bitcoin's evolution, especially as we lag behind gold and move forward. See, what was once dismissed as a speculative magic internet money is now proving itself as the world's hedge asset choice, sitting alongside gold, but with more upside and more global adoption. It's borderless, decentralized, transparent. It's not heavy to carry across, right? You see, the takeaway, October 2025 is not about the height, it's about legitimacy. Bitcoin has officially entered the stage of independent financial system, even as the government shuts down. Central banks and endless money printing are starting to show major cracks. But here's the big question. Why is Bitcoin exploding at this exact moment? I'm going to connect the dots for you. First, inflation is cooling. The core PCE index, which the Fed watches like a hawk, just printed a 2.9%, the lowest in over 30 years. That number is massive because it gives the Federal Reserve room to start cutting rates. And when borrowing gets cheaper, liquidity flows back into the system. Cheap money always looks for a home, and risk assets like Bitcoin and high-growth tech stocks, they tend to be the first beneficiaries. Second, rate cuts are already in play. The Fed has already made its first cut and is signaling at least two more in 2025. Historically, rate cuts are rocket fuel for hard assets like gold and Bitcoin. Why, you say? Because the real return of holding cash erodes. Sitting on dollars that are losing purchasing power doesn't make sense. So investors move into assets that hold or basically just grow in value. Bitcoin with its fixed 21 million cap becomes the obvious alternative. Third, the labor market is weakening. Job growth is slowing. Unemployment, well, it's ticking higher every month. And wage pressure is cooling off. These are all signs of cracks in the economy. And when confidence in traditional economies starts slipping, as I always tell you, investors look outside the fiat system for safety. That's where Bitcoin shines. It's not tied to central bank decisions, job reports, payroll numbers. It's literally a hedge against systemic weakness. And fourth, deficit spending is literally out of control. The US government is spending over 2 trillion more than it collects every single year. That's not sustainable. And markets, well, they know it. The more the government relies on debt and money printing to keep the system running, the weaker the dollar looks long term. I mean, we have to buy our own treasuries right now. And the weaker the dollar, well, the stronger the case for Bitcoin as a store of value. Because Bitcoin, it can't be inflated away. So let's put all these together. Cooling inflation, easier money, and a softening labor market and endless deficit spending, well, it's a perfect storm for Bitcoin surge. That's why we're sitting at 124K today, and why Uptober 2025 is shaping up to be one for the history books. You see, we're not talking about tenants, toilets, termites, and real estate. We're talking about Bitcoin. And it's not just Bitcoin making headlines right now, though. The S&P 500 hit all-time highs at 6,700. Gold is trading at record levels. And like I mentioned, real estate maybe problems. They're doing incredible well as well. Unaffordability is at all-time highs. See, we're witnessing what could be called an everything rally, one of the most unusual periods in financial history, where nearly every asset class is moving higher at the same time. And if you don't own assets, you're being left behind. But here's where Bitcoin separates itself. Stocks are tied directly to government policy, corporate earnings, and the Federal Reserve's decision on interest rates. Real estate depends on credit markets and mortgage rates. Even gold, while scarce, is still influenced by central bank buying and geopolitical reserves. Bitcoin plays by different rules. It has no central bank to backstop it, no corporate board, no ability for governments to just dilute its supply. There will only be 21 million coins, hard-coded, transparent, and unchangeable. The scarcity hasn't even been shown yet. But the scarcity is what makes Bitcoin stand out in this moment. Every macro headline, whether it's inflation cooling, the dollar weakening, trillion-dollar deficits piling up, strengthens Bitcoin's roles as the ultimate hedge, and you need to understand that. It's not a backup strategy. It's the only strategy, in my opinion, that really matters. See, when traditional assets rally, they're rallying on borrowed time and borrowed money. Bitcoin rallies because global demand recognizes it as digital scarcity, a financial system outside of politics, outside of Wall Street, outside of government printing presses. I mean, look at China. They're selling U.S. treasuries to buy gold. And yeah, Bitcoin was at 60,000. Rates were higher, inflation was hotter, markets were nervous. Fast forward 12 months though, double the Bitcoin price, 2 trillion in deficits, inflation finally cooling, and rate cuts arriving. It isn't just about price action, it's about transformation. Bitcoin has moved from being a speculative bet into a necessary for institutions, hedge funds, and even corporations who want long-term wealth preservation. Uptober isn't hype. It's history unfolding in real time. So where do we go from here? Well, if rate cuts continue and liquidity flows, Bitcoin could accelerate beyond 130,000 in the near term. If the labor market weakens further, expect more stimulus talk. And stimulus equals more dollars chasing scarce assets. If deficits keep climbing, the dollar loses credibility. That loss of trust benefits Bitcoin the most. Every path points to higher volatility and more attention on Bitcoin. Whether you're a hodler or just watching from the sidelines, one thing is clear. Bitcoin has officially stepped into the spotlight as the global hedge asset. So let's wrap this up. I'm going to be point blank and serious with you. Bitcoin is at 124,000, which proves Uptober is alive and well. Rate cuts are cooling inflation, and deficit spending are fueling the fire of what's going on for Bitcoin. And markets across the board are at all-time highs, but only Bitcoin is truly independent. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Bitcoin can hit 150,000 before the end of October? What about December? Or will you see a big correction first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you hit that like button if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. And share this video with anyone who wants to know real Bitcoin news, not the fluff. This isn't mainstream media. This is me telling you directly what's happening each day. Well, that's your Daily Hodl. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and as always, Lead.Pray.Hodl. I'll see you in the next one.